So the first one is directive, the second one is delegative, and the third one is you lead alongside. Side by side, it's like walking arm by arm, and the swing style of
Wow.
that thing. so so you walk alongside your team,
Mm.
and sometimes they will need moral support, sometimes they will need technical support, and you will give it to them, but you are part of the team.
Good day. Welcome to the Leader's Edge, and today is our season 18, episode 4. And we have a favorite today. That's Carol Esguerra Colborn, who will be talking about how should you lead from the front, from behind, or alongside. So that is certainly something that is intriguing and very interesting to me. And some of you may have your own ideas, but why don't we hear from Carol herself? Maybe she'll give a short introduction of who she is and why she came up with such a beautiful title to her topic. Carol?
Well, thank you very much, Dino. Not to brag, but I just got this award from the UP Alumni Association.
I know.
It was an award on leadership,
Mm.
on IT development, on leadership in IT development, especially from the public and private sector. And so I got so inspired to remember, I might be dressed this way because I'm so informally in the travel industry now, being a travel writer. But then because of this award, I remembered all of the different management and leadership ideas I had with me when I was still working in the Philippines and was thick into my career, very much into my career. And the first one that got into me was how to lead. And it's also because, I'm a dancer.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
you go in front, you go behind, and
I've seen
sing.
you bust your moves, and I'll just tell the viewers, Carol is so full of energy, you wouldn't know she's cruising.
Yeah, I'm not living true to the word cruising, which I'm trying to live up to, which is
Mm.
a sustainable, easy space. I'm
Yeah.
getting there. I am actually slower now than before. But anyway, the dancing also gave me this idea of, my gosh, you can really lead from different sides
Mm.
because the people are all around you. And
True.
so, what is really the best type of leadership? Having
Mm.
been given this leadership award, I look back. What did I use anyway in all of these companies and organizations that I led?
Mm.
And I came up with a conclusion at the end. But first, let's define what the three are.
All
You
right.
know, yeah, from the front is a very directive leadership style. You direct, with the latigo. I don't
Yep.
know. It's like it's the obvious example is always in the military battle. Commanders use a very direct leadership style. They lead from the front and everybody follows. Because if they do something wrong, if they lead the people astray, then it could be disastrous and the death of a lot of people. So leading from the front is what military commanders use. And that was the traditional leadership. That was
True.
actually more what we knew in the beginning, but many other leadership styles evolved. And one of them is leading from behind. And leading from behind is, instead of pulling people, you push people. You push people because you empower them already with what they're supposed to do, and therefore they can use their own talents. And what you do is just mentor, facilitate, assist, guide, all those things. That's what you call delegative.
Mm.
Delegative. So the first one is directive, the second one is delegative, and the third one is you lead alongside. Side by side, it's like walking arm by arm, and the swing style of
Wow.
that thing. so so you walk alongside your team,
Mm.
and sometimes they will need moral support. Sometimes they will need technical support, and you will give it to them, but you are part of the team. And that's what you call participative leadership. And so those are the three definitions.
I read in your article that during the MegaLink years, the early years, you had to essentially become General Patton.
Yes, it is. That's the other example of when a directive leadership is important. And
Mm.
there are many startups today.
Yeah,
Many people are inventing new things, and in startups, nobody knows how to do things yet. It's
true,
the first time it's being introduced.
true.
Like with MegaLink, actually, I was hired to be general manager, but I didn't know what to do with an ATM switch. I
Ooh.
didn't even know what an ATM is. I had hardly used an ATM. So what did I have to do? I had to go to different countries to see which of what they have done with their switches, how they did it. And therefore, when I came back to the Philippines, I was an expert, kuno kuno. I was the expert in it because I had studied it. And therefore, I could lead from the front. And that's what I did. Because it was the Megalink board told me, launch ahead of the rival. There were two
Wow.
rivals.
Mm,
Yeah, two rivals. And the other consortium formed ahead of Megalink.
mm,
So they started late. But so they hired me and they said, launch ahead of them. And so I did all the studies and then I led from the front. And then when I felt it was already feasible to launch, I gave them a list of bugs of the system. I said, these are the bugs, and these are the things that can happen, the risks, and these are the ways we can mitigate those risks. I recommend we launch even if we have these bugs. No system is perfect anyway. Everything, all systems evolve through time. Even when you launch now, 1 month later, it will be outdated and you have to update it. All software updates, as you know,
mm.
everything gets updated every once in a while, and even sometimes very fast. So they agreed with me and we launched. We launched ahead of BankNet, and guess what happened? 32 member banks, we were the largest consortium. 32
Wow.
member banks joined us. From four, we became 32.
Carol, let me just say that Megalink is doing really well right now. They were recently my clients for training. So,
Oh,
they're in good hands and
yes,
they
yes.
have to thank you for helping them get started. And I'd like to note for the viewers' benefit that Carol here did what any responsible leader does, which is look for best practices. That's why she had to travel abroad, look at what the others are doing, and
Yes.
she did environmental scanning,
Mhm.
see what the competitors were doing and how they were doing it and where they are in the market. So, for the record, that was like, I think, ExpressNet at the time and then BankNet.
BankNet and ExpressNet, yes. Those
Yeah.
were the two competitors.
So imagine what Carol was up against. And so she had to,
Hmm.
yeah. But I'm glad that you enjoyed the experience.
I learned so much.
Because I'm sure you'll agree, and our viewers so will too, that if the leader is driving, but at the same time looks like she's enjoying the process, they do too.
Yes.
Mhm. Tell us a little bit more about later on when you went with SAP, because I know
Oh,
that
yes.
you had to shift from where you were.
Oh, yeah. I've been into different types of companies. So SAP is very different. We had to sell this brand new ERP software. Right now, it's really used by everybody.
Yeah.
But then we were just introducing it in the Philippines, and they've had such terrific experience powering so many Fortune 100 companies in the US and elsewhere. So it has become the byword insofar as end-to-end processing, meaning all of the applications in an enterprise-wide software that are connected, all connected in these single applications na gano'n that are not talking to each other.
Mm-mm.
This is what the German ERP enterprise software is about, is
Mm-mm.
enterprise-wide. One single transaction entry, it powers all the other applications. So there's no no error, no mistakes.
Wow.
Okay. So that's what we had to introduce in the market.
Mm.
And the delegative leadership style is the best for this. It's best when you are dependent on the competence and the innovation and the talent of your employees.
Mm.
For example, how could I sell all these to all the thousands of companies? I couldn't. I had to depend on the sales force.
Yeah.
And to support them, I had to depend on the technical team. And I didn't come from the technical background. I don't know anything about technically about the package. I mean, there's so many ins and outs. It's a very, and alam mo naman, German
All
software.
right. Yeah.
Very, very specific, very, very technical software.
Mm.
So I had to depend on the talents of the people. And therefore, they were empowered by quotas. The sales people were empowered by quotas. And so are the technical people. They're empowered to serve X number of installations. Okay. And so, what did I have to do? As in a delegative leadership lifestyle, management style, what you have to do is to coach, facilitate, mentor. What did the sales team need? They needed introductions to CEOs. I was a CEO myself, and therefore I could talk, on even terms with the Ayalas or whoever, and
Wow.
they would give me the time to listen to me. So they needed help in CEO relationships. They needed help in board presentations when my credibility and authority would sound better, you know those are the kinds of help they would need, or maybe a difficult account where I could strategize with them. So first, from time to time, we would have such things. What would the technical team need? They would need the thing that I found out that they needed the most, besides having the technical resources, is the moral support.
Mm.
There are conflicts that arise between the regional technical team and the local technical team, especially when they differ in appreciation of the problem or the solution to the problem.
Mm.
And I had to give my local team the moral support. And when I needed fighting in the regional arena, I did that for them. So
Sounds like
that's what.
sounds like you had to do a lot of mediating and
Yes.
firefighting.
That's what you have to do. So they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, but there are things that they may need from you, and then therefore, in the delegative leadership style, you're ready to assist them.
Mm. So
But you
for
don't supplant them. Supplant them, you assist them.
for our viewers, I'd like to react to what Carol just shared. Here, when she's leading from behind, she has a more delicate touch. She is more like the cheerleader to help
Yes,
people feel like they're enabled to do what they're
yes.
good at. And she succeeded like gangbusters because I remember when Unilab back in the day hired me as well to teach people how to teach the use of SAP in their operations.
Oh, okay.
You know what, Carol? I just can say you did magnificent because in Unilab, what I was hearing were things like, oh, in the past, when somebody had to file for an SL, they had to use hard copy and they'd wait for a few days before it got back to them and they'd know whether they had any more days left. But now, they just text the inquiry and a text reply gets back to them instantaneously. We love SAP, so they were like praising it to high
That's
heavens.
our SAP. We were able to introduce it to the Philippines, and the Philippines companies became at par with global companies because we're using exactly what they're using, the power of technology.
So, Carol, would you say that SAP is like the grandparent of today's version of what they call CRM or customer relations?
CRM is part of the enterprise of the ERP software. It's one module of it.
So,
One
in other words, it's like the grandchild.
then, yes.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Awesome. So if all of you out there are having a better time running your businesses, it's thanks to people like Carol who enabled SAP to become part of the business landscape, and because she decided to use leadership from behind. In other words, leadership with a softer touch, with a focus on building good relations between people within the organization, and just making them feel they're empowered, which then, of course,
Empowered and supported.
and
Supported.
supported. Yun. So now, this takes us to another phase in your journey as a leader when you join the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Tell us
Yeah.
about that, because I know that you had to do something new this time.
Yeah, it has, well, the BIR is very different. 10,000 plus employees.
Holy
SAP was,
smokes.
SAP was an organization of 30 people. MegaLink was an organization of 50 people. BIR is 10,000 plus. It's
OMG.
a government bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It has to be managed differently. And when I was brought in, they had already bought the hardware. They had already, uh, they had already contracted the consulting group that will implement.
Hmm.
So what was I supposed to do? I mean, I thought the teams were in place. And so all that I could be doing was participative leadership,
Wow.
be leading from the front. They know more than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even do delegative because it was about to be installed already, and I may not be able to support them in a lot of things. They know of far more than I do, and it was such a large organization. I'm sure there was something for me
Mm,
what I could do. And therefore, I thought it was the participative leadership style.
mm.
I had to work alongside the teams. I was not there to rock any boat. I
Okay.
was not there to stall any progress.
Mm,
I was there to help in the process. And the process that I thought I could help with very effectively, especially with my Toastmaster skills. Yes, yes. That's exactly what I used a lot in BIR is my Toastmaster skills because I was always talking to a lot of people.
right.
Meetings would have 20s, 30s, 50s, hundreds, thousands. And so it is really oral communication skills that was important. And it was really working alongside the teams, representing them to the other parts of the organization because not I was the what do you call that? Blue
The, ho-
blowhorn or blow
the horn blower. Yeah.
the horn blower, yes. And I was working alongside them, understanding what they want to communicate to everybody, not just to peers, but also to upper management, and also working with top management in addressing the whole organization. It was a massive change we were
Mm-mm.
implementing. It was the leadership style that was being called upon me was to um, to participate in a lot of gatherings and communication sessions and to deliver a lot of ideas to a lot of people.
Mm.
And so that's what I used. And I just represented the teams. It was a participative. I was participating. I had 1,000 people in the IT group alone.
Okay.
The IT group alone had 1,000 people. But I worked alongside two assistant commissioners and an HR, a head revenue executive assistant, and then all the directors below them. And the same thing with the other deputy commissioners. I was working with three other deputy commissioners and the commissioner himself. And there were hundreds of revenue district offices all
Yeah.
over the Philippines,
RDOs.
distributed along regional centers. And I had to launch 7 regional data centers
Mm.
where each of the computers, decentralized computers, will be. So it was a massive organization, a massive change. And therefore, it was really a participative thing that I did. And the most skill that was most important to me then was my Toastmaster skill.
Mm. You know, my reaction to that is you surfed because you saw a huge wave, almost like a tsunami.
Yeah, yeah.
If you stood in its way, you'd just be overwhelmed. So
I
you
would drown and there would be protests against me. And, that's how people don't succeed in government.
true, true. And I'd like the viewers to note with importance the fact that Carol mentioned Toastmasters and her exposure to the world of Toastmasters, which really helped her immensely in communication skills. I myself am a product of Toastmasters. And so it is true that in the Toastmasters there's a hierarchy and you are able to manage better by leveraging your communication skills. That way, you have less headaches and you entrust people the with the day-to-day running of the organization. Now, I have a question though. One of the challenges in running an agency is, of course, its brand. Its brand. Um, Was this during the time when the BIR had its own Toastmasters Club?
No, not yet.
Not, oh, okay, not yet. So,
But some Toastmasters joined me in our clubs, like Sultan.
mm,
Some Toastmasters joined me.
awesome. Um,
Yeah.
for you, was there a difficulty in the transition from being in front, the back? Now you're doing things alongside. Did you somehow struggle with feelings of not being in control, or was that something that you didn't have to adjust to?
It's like you adapt there. It's like being open to varying situations and having common sense, I guess, and being open and be having an open mind and developing skills that you may need along the way. And also being friends with people. I think the most important thing that helped me was I was a very friendly person, and I made best friends among my employees in MegaLink, and even among my employees in SAP, and even in BIR.
Mm.
I mean, if you're friends with people, everything becomes easier.
And I think that's one of the secrets of your good health. Because if you look at Carol, she looks so chill. She looks so energetic. I dare say she has more energy than I do. uh, because you do a lot of traveling, you do a lot of meetings, and none of it makes you look exhausted. Some people say it's not the it's not the years, but the mileage, and yet,
Mhm.
uh, considering how much mileage Carol has racked up over the years by traveling, um, I
It has improved. Actually, it's improved me, I think.
yeah.
I say I look better now, and I'm 76 years old.
Mm-mm. So it's Carol's fountain of youth that she knows how to adapt depending on what the organization requires. So we come to the point where we need to ask Carol. She's been leading up front. She's led from the back. She's led alongside. The inevitable question, of course, is how do you reconcile, when does a person know when to pick the right location to be at? Because there's the situational leadership model that we
Yeah.
all know. So for you, what has been your most useful true north? If you are faced with, say, an organization, how do you size up quickly? where you should lead?
Actually, my natural style is to lead from the front.
Mm,
I was so glad that that was the first challenge that was given to me,
mm-mm,
because I mean, so when I grew, I was already able to do the participative style in BIR when I was more mature. So the leader goes through a maturity cycle too,
mm-mm,
and I it was so easy to lead from. It's easier to lead from the front.
mm-mm.
It's like um, you just study well, understand the situation, and then just tell them, follow me. I know what to do. You know, just follow me. I know what to do.
Yeah.
The others are actually more difficult, and that's why they came about even much later.
Mm,
But right now, I don't know, but I think in some situations, when it is important to reach a goal right away, and there's no other way but to reach the goal right away, then a directive leadership is probably best. And that's what I got to be known for,
mm,
because I was asked to do pioneering projects. That's first time it's going to be done, and therefore you're being asked to show them how.
mm. You know what?
So
Sorry.
yeah,
You know what's really admirable about you, Carol, is that you matured to the point where you were able to emotionally accept the fact that you had to let go, because so many
yeah,
leaders are directive and have a
up to the end.
time, yeah, weaning themselves away from that. They have a struggle with releasing too much control.
Yes,
I think it's what they call OCD, overly controlling. So in your case, your award is very well deserved because you've proven through the years and with each organization being stronger when you left it because of how you led. So any any
thank you.
any encouragement to people who are struggling with this directive style, they can't seem to let go.
Yeah. Though the other styles are just as good and just as wonderful to learn, and you will see that the most effective leader will have all three styles. And even in the same company, do it for the same company. For example, in SAP, actually was not just delegative. With the marketing team, I was directive
Ah.
because I was the chief store. It's in the article too. I was the chief storyteller. I wanted to communicate. I mean, if I were going to sell it to each person, how would I say it? So the only difference with the marketing, the message is the same to each specific audience. The only difference is the channels that you're going to use in marketing is going to be applied differently.
Right.
So the marketing team was directed
Mm,
towards what messages to say.
mm,
They just had to fiddle around with the marketing channels.
mm,
But the messaging came from me. It was direct. The marketing goals, the marketing messaging
mm.
were all directly coming from me. I was the chief marketing person.
Again,
So for
leveraging.
SAP, I had two types. I really
Okay.
did two types.
Mm. So again, you leverage your communication skills
Yes.
you'd learned from the Toastmasters.
More than the Toastmasters. I know the time when I started in Toastmasters, I couldn't even say a paragraph without 100 ahs. No, I had all of these nervousness and tics and everything.
Mm,
But look at me now. It's because of Toastmasters. And every step of the way, it helped me from each small management job to different leadership roles, bigger and bigger roles. I can't thank Toastmasters enough. I
true.
wish people can see the gem that Toastmasters is. It really helped. It differentiated me from other leaders.
Mm.
And then it made me more mature right away.
Wonderful. So for anybody who's still on the bench thinking whether they should join or attend or visit, don't be. I mean, look at what it did for Carol. Look what it did even for me. So Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give Carol an opportunity now to mention the upcoming blog posts that she is going to be posting soon about leadership.
Well, yeah, this is the first one. How should you lead? From the front, from behind, or alongside? The second one is, who is best suited to lead, men or women? Yeah, wow, that. And then after that, which I'm going to post tomorrow, I mean, no, on Tuesday, is governance versus management. Which is more important?
Mm,
First of all, you have to know it's different. They are different. Governance is very different from management.
mm,
Knowing that now, which is more important? And
mm.
in some situations, governance is even more important than management.
Ah,
Yeah. And after that, I'm talking about strategies. Strategies, what is the difference between strategy for profit organizations versus non-profit organizations? There's a whole difference. And then after that, I talk about how do you find and nurture future leaders? How do you find them? Where do you spot them? And how do you train them? Yep. And then after that, I think I forgot now what my other thing. Oh, how to reduce burnout, because I was a victim of burnout
mm.
and I disappeared from the scene because of burnout. But I was thinking, if I only was able to reduce burnout, I would still be probably in the scene.
Wow. So all of that is something to look forward to.
Yes.
Where do they go to find the blog, or where would they be able to read it?
Oh, just put in rvcruisinglifestyle.blogspot.com. RV Cruising Lifestyle, just that.
Okay, you
Just
heard it.
the RV Cruising Lifestyle, and the blog link will appear.
Okay, folks, you heard it from Carol. Pay her blog a visit because uh, it doesn't matter if you're an aspiring leader or a current leader, whether you're in the private sector or you're in the government, you can learn from those posts. And especially we have elections upcoming both in the US and in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
if you're serious about leading, do give those
Which
two.
supposed to need, men or women?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
there.
right. The Philippines and US.
Ay, ang ganda nun. I love the upcoming episodes. So, if you like what you heard today with our interview with Carol, this is episode 4. Please stick around because in episode 5, we will be listening to Carol talk about who leads better, men or women. Now, while that may sound controversial, it's not because that interview is going to be filled with so much wisdom. So I do hope you stick around. And do please leave comments. Our guests like to read them, so do I. And if you like what you heard, click like, share, and subscribe. And as always, learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas.